Lily Harper remembered the sound before she remembered the fear. Music, too loud, too happy, too alive. She was 8 years old, standing in the middle of a German street festival, holding her mother's hand so tightly her fingers hurt. Colored lights hung above the street, people laughed. Someone spilled beer, someone else clapped to the rhythm of a song Lily didn't understand. And then her mother's hand slipped. Not violently, not suddenly, just enough. Lily stopped walking. She turned around, her mother wasn't there. At first, Lily didn't panic. She remembered the rule her mom had drilled into her head before the trip. If we ever get separated, don't move, I will come back. So Lily stood still. Seconds passed. Then a minute, then another. The music felt louder now, faces blurred as people moved around her. Adults' legs brushed past her shoulders. No one noticed the small girl frozen in place, her heart beating faster with every second. "Mom," Lily whispered, no answer. That was the moment fear arrived. It crawled into her chest slowly, tightening her throat. Lily started turning in small circles, searching every face. Women with blonde hair, women with brown coats. Women laughing, none of them were her mother. Her eyes burned. She didn't scream yet. She was trying to be brave. A voice spoke above her head. "Are you lost?" Lily looked up. A man crouched in front of her. He smiled softly like adults do when they want children to trust them. He spoke English, but his accent was thick and unfamiliar. "Where is your mom?" he asked. Lily opened her mouth, and that's where her memory broke. Everything after that came in fragments. A different street, a car door closing, a woman's voice saying her name wrong, and darkness. When Lily woke up, her life had already been rewritten. Evelyn Harper spent the next 20 years living inside that moment. The second her daughter's hand slipped from hers, she screamed Lily's name until her voice gave out. Police swarmed the festival. Loudspeakers announced Lily's description in 3 languages. Volunteers searched parks, train stations, restrooms, alleys. Lily was never found. The investigation lasted months. The guilt lasted forever. Evelyn's marriage didn't survive the loss. Her husband blamed her for letting go. Evelyn blamed him for checking his phone instead of watching Lily. Words turned into silence. Silence turned into separate bedrooms. They divorced quietly. Evelyn kept the house, the room, the toys. Every year on Lily's birthday, she baked a cake and let it go stale on the kitchen counter. Every year she wrote a letter to a daughter who might be dead or worse. Evelyn stopped traveling, stopped laughing, stopped trusting happiness. People told her to move on, she never did. 20 years later, in a quiet American suburb, Lily stood in front of a mirror, staring at a face that never felt fully hers. Her name was Lily Carter now. She was married. She had a stable life, a husband who loved her, friends who knew her story, or at least the version she'd been told, that her parents died overseas, that she had been adopted by a kind woman who saved her. But something had always felt wrong. Lily had nightmares she couldn't explain. Crowded places made her panic. German music made her heart race. And sometimes she woke up crying a name she didn't recognize. Mom. Everything changed the day her adoptive mother died. While sorting through her belongings, Lily found a locked metal box hidden behind old coats. Inside were documents that didn't belong to her current life. German police reports, missing child flyers, a passport with a different last name, Harper, and at the bottom of the box, a photograph. A woman holding a little girl at a festival. The girl was Lily. The woman was Evelyn. Lily's hands shook so hard she dropped the photo. Her entire life cracked open in 1 second. She flew to America without telling anyone why. When she stood in front of Evelyn's door, she felt 8 years old again. Evelyn opened the door and froze. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then Evelyn whispered the name she had said in her dreams for 2 decades. Lily. That reunion should have healed everything. It didn't. Because finding each other was easy, living with the truth was not. As days passed, Lily began noticing things. Evelyn's fear, her overprotectiveness, her guilt that felt heavier than grief. And slowly, Lily realized something unsettling. Her disappearance had destroyed her parents' marriage, but it hadn't been the only reason. There was a secret tied to that night in Germany, a decision Evelyn made, a choice no one knew about, and Lily understood something terrifying. Coming back wasn't just reopening old wounds. It was about to break a family that had already been rebuilt, including 2 innocent children who had nothing to do with the past. If you think this is just a story about a lost child, you're wrong. This is a story about what happens when the truth arrives 20 years late and demands payment. If you want to know what Evelyn hid, why Lily's return led to another divorce, and how love turned into psychological warfare, subscribe, because the next part changes everything. The first night Lily stayed in her mother's house, she didn't sleep. The guest room was clean, too clean, no personal photos, no warmth, like the room was prepared for someone who might arrive at but never stay. Lily lay on the bed staring at the ceiling, listening. Every sound felt amplified. The ticking clock, the refrigerator humming, and somewhere in the house, Evelyn crying softly, thinking Lily couldn't hear her. Lily closed her eyes. And the festival came back, lights swinging overhead, music pounding in her chest, her mother's hand slipping, the man's voice asking if she was lost. Lily sat up, gasping. She walked quietly down the hallway. The door to her old bedroom was open. Inside, time had stopped. The bed was still small. Stuffed animals lined the shelf, drawings taped to the wall had yellowed with age. On the dresser sat a framed photo of 8-year-old Lily smiling at the camera. Lily felt sick. "You kept all this?" she asked from the doorway. Evelyn turned slowly. She looked older than Lily remembered from the photo. Fragile. Worn down by waiting. "I couldn't throw you away," Evelyn said quietly. "This room was the only place where you were still alive." Lily's throat tightened. "You built a shrine," she said, "not a life." Evelyn flinched. That sentence stayed between them like a knife. The next morning, Lily met the rest of the family. Evelyn's ex-husband, Daniel Harper, lived only 20 minutes away. He had remarried years ago. He had 2 children now. A stable job, a routine life that didn't include missing posters or unanswered prayers. Daniel froze when he saw Lily. "You look just like her," he whispered. Lily didn't know how to respond. She watched his wife's face carefully. Confusion, fear, calculation. The children stared at Lily like she was a ghost. During breakfast, Lily noticed something strange. Daniel couldn't look at Evelyn, and Evelyn couldn't look at him. The tension wasn't grief, it was guilt. That night, Lily searched Evelyn's house, not out of curiosity, out of instinct. She found boxes in the attic, old emails printed out, legal documents, a police report marked closed, and a handwritten note dated the night Lily disappeared. The note was short. "I should have chosen differently." Lily's hands shook. Chosen what? Daniel agreed to meet Lily alone the next day. They sat in a quiet park watching Daniel's children play in the distance. Lily noticed how careful he was with them, how attentive. "You were a good father," Lily said. Daniel swallowed. "I failed you?" "No," Lily said softly. "You failed my mother?" Daniel stiffened. "You don't know everything," he said. Lily leaned forward. "Then tell me." Daniel stared at the ground for a long time before speaking. "That night in Germany," he said, "your mother made a choice. When I begged her not to," Lily's heart pounded. "What choice?" Daniel looked at her. "She didn't lose you right away." The world tilted. "She let go," Daniel continued, "on purpose, just for a moment." Lily felt dizzy. "That's impossible." "She was distracted," Daniel said, "arguing with me about something big, something life-changing. She asked me to watch you. I assumed she was holding your hand." Daniel's voice broke. "She wasn't." Lily stood up abruptly. "So it was an accident." Daniel shook his head. "No, because after she realized you were gone, she waited." Lily felt ice crawl up her spine. "She waited before telling anyone," Daniel said. "She was scared, and for those few minutes, she chose herself." Lily laughed shakily. "You're lying." Daniel met her eyes. "That delay destroyed the search window. Police told us later those first minutes mattered most." Lily couldn't breathe. That night, Lily confronted Evelyn. "Did you wait?" Lily asked flatly. Evelyn's face drained of color. "I was scared," she whispered. "You chose something over me," Lily said. Evelyn broke down completely. "I thought you'd be right there. I thought I had time." Lily backed away. Everything made sense now. The divorce, the guilt, the frozen house, but something else didn't. Daniel's marriage, his children. Lily realized something dark and dangerous. Her disappearance hadn't just broken Evelyn, it had freed Daniel. And Lily's return was threatening to take that life away. That night, Lily opened her laptop and began digging into old emails, old timelines, old lies. She wasn't just looking for truth anymore. She was looking for leverage. Because when a child is lost at 8 and found at 28, the person who comes back is not the same one who disappeared. If you've made it this far, you already feel it. This story isn't about reunion anymore. It's about consequence. Subscribe because in the next part, Lily makes a decision that turns memory into a weapon and forces a family to collapse all over again. The email was sent at 2:13 a.m. Lily didn't reread it. She didn't hesitate. Once she clicked send, there was no going back. The subject line was simple. "We need to talk about Germany." She sent it to Daniel Harper's wife. Her name was Rachel. For 20 years, Rachel had lived a life built on a clean timeline, a widower-looking man, a tragic past, a child lost in Europe, a marriage that ended because grief destroyed it. That was the version Daniel had given her. Lily knew now it wasn't complete. The reply came faster than Lily expected. "Who is this?" Lily stared at the screen, her pulse pounding. She typed carefully, "I'm Lily, Daniel's daughter. The one who disappeared." 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. Minutes passed. Finally, one line arrived. "That's not possible." Lily smiled faintly. That was always the first reaction. The next morning, Evelyn noticed something different. Lily was calmer, too calm. She moved through the house with precision, like someone following a plan instead of emotions. She drank her coffee quietly. She smiled politely. She didn't ask questions. That scared Evelyn more than Lily's anger ever had. "You're going out?" Evelyn asked. "Yes," Lily replied. "I have things to understand." Evelyn watched her leave, a familiar dread settling in her chest. The same dread she'd felt in Germany right before everything fell apart. Rachel agreed to meet Lily. They sat across from each other in a quiet cafe on the edge of town. Rachel looked composed, elegant, nothing like the villain Lily had imagined. "You look young," Rachel said softly. "You look real." "I am," Lily replied, "and I'm not here to hurt you." Rachel folded her hands. "Then why am I shaking?" "Because somewhere inside you already know," Lily thought. "I need to tell you what really happened," Lily said. "And what didn't?" Rachel listened. At first she interrupted, corrected, defended. Then Lily showed her the documents. The German police report noting delayed notification. The time-stamped emails. The note Evelyn had written that night. Rachel's face slowly drained of color. "He told me your mother was hysterical," Rachel whispered. "That she ran off screaming, that he tried to calm her." Lily shook her head. "He left to make a phone call to deal with something else. My mother waited. And that waiting changed everything." Rachel covered her mouth. "So the marriage didn't end because of grief?" "No," Lily said. "It ended because blame was easier than truth." Silence settled between them. Rachel finally asked the question Lily had been waiting for. "Why are you telling me this now?" Lily answered honestly. "Because you deserve to know what kind of man you married." Rachel's eyes filled with tears. "We have children?" "I know," Lily said, "and that's why this hurts." That evening, Daniel confronted Lily. He didn't knock. He stormed into Evelyn's house like he still belonged there. "You had no right," he shouted. Lily didn't raise her voice. "You lied to her. She didn't need to know," Daniel snapped. "The past was buried." "You buried it," Lily corrected. "I lived in it." Daniel's face twisted. "You're destroying my family." Lily met his eyes. "You built it on a lie." Evelyn stood frozen in the doorway, watching the two people she loved most tear into each other. "Stop," she whispered. "Please." Daniel turned on her. "You started this." Evelyn flinched. Lily felt something inside her harden. Daniel pointed at Lily. "You don't get to come back and burn everything down." Lily stepped closer. "I didn't come back to burn it down. I came back to understand why no one came looking fast enough." Daniel had no answer. He left, slamming the door behind him. That night, Rachel called. Her voice was shaking. "He admitted it," she said. "Not everything, but enough." Lily closed her eyes. "I asked him if he ever blamed himself," Rachel continued. "He said no. He said grief excuses mistakes." Lily whispered, "It doesn't." Rachel inhaled sharply. "I don't know what to do." Lily paused. This was the moment, the line she could cross or step back from. "If you want to stay," Lily said carefully, "that's your choice. I didn't tell you to make you leave him. I told you so you could choose with truth." Rachel was silent for a long time. Then she said, "I can't unsee this." Evelyn didn't sleep that night. She sat at the kitchen table, staring at the same spot Lily used to color as a child. "I ruined everything," she whispered. Lily sat across from her. "No," Lily said, "you made a choice, and choices echo." Evelyn looked up, tears streaming. "If I could go back, you can't," Lily said gently. But you can stop pretending it didn't matter. For the first time, Evelyn nodded. The next morning, the news arrived quietly. Rachel had taken the children and left. Daniel was alone, and Lily felt nothing, no victory, no relief. Just a heavy understanding. Truth doesn't arrive to heal, it arrives to rebalance. And sometimes balance looks like loss, but Lily didn't know yet that Daniel wasn't finished. Not with her, not with Evelyn. Because when a man loses the life he protected with lies, the next thing he protects is himself. No matter the cost. If you think this was the breaking point, you're wrong. Subscribe, because in the next part, Daniel makes a move that turns this from emotional damage into psychological war. The voicemail arrived at 6:42 am. Lily listened to it 3 times before she could breathe normally. It wasn't angry. It wasn't loud. That's what made it dangerous. Lily, Daniel's voice said calmly, almost kindly, "You've said enough, now it's my turn." The line went dead. Lily knew that tone. It was the same tone adults used when they smiled while lying. She didn't tell Evelyn right away. Instead, she did what she'd learned to do after 20 years of surviving confusion. She watched. She waited. She listened. Daniel didn't show up that day, or the next. No calls, no texts, no confrontations, just silence. And silence, Lily had learned, was never empty. It started with small things. Evelyn's neighbor asked a strange question while collecting mail. "Are you okay? Someone said you've been unstable lately." At the grocery store, a woman Evelyn barely knew offered her a sad smile. "It must be hard," she said, "after everything you've been through." Evelyn came home shaking. "People are talking," she told Lily, "about me, about us." Lily felt her stomach tighten. That night, Lily searched public records and found it. A petition filed that morning. Emergency psychological evaluation request. Filed by Daniel Harper. The reason listed was carefully worded. Concern for the mental health of Evelyn Harper following unresolved trauma related to the disappearance and reappearance of her daughter. Lily stared at the screen. He wasn't trying to win back Rachel. He was trying to erase Evelyn. When Lily confronted him by phone, Daniel didn't deny it. "You're hurting her," he said calmly. "I'm protecting her. You're punishing her," Lily snapped. Daniel sighed like a tired parent. "You don't understand how fragile she is. You never did." Lily's hands shook. "You waited 20 years to care?" "I waited until it mattered," he replied. "Until someone started digging?" The line went dead again. 2 days later, a social worker knocked on Evelyn's door. She was polite, professional, unavoidable. Evelyn answered questions honestly about her sleep, her anxiety, her guilt, her past. When asked about Lily, Evelyn smiled sadly. "She's my daughter," she said. "She always was." The social worker wrote something down. That night, Evelyn cried harder than Lily had ever seen. "He's doing this because of me," Evelyn whispered. "Because I failed you?" Lily knelt in front of her. "No," she said firmly. "He's doing this because he's afraid." "Afraid of what?" Evelyn asked. "Of being exposed," Lily answered. Lily went back to Germany. She didn't tell anyone except Evelyn. She walked the same streets, the same square, the same corner where the festival lights once hung. She found the old police station, and then the old officer. He was retired now, slower, kinder. When Lily showed him her face, his eyes widened. "You," he said softly, "we always wondered." Lily asked him one question. "What happened in the first minutes after I was reported missing?" The officer hesitated. Then he opened a file. "Your mother didn't report you missing immediately," he said gently, "but neither did your father. He left the area." Lily froze. "He returned later," the officer continued. Angry, defensive, he blamed her. "But those first minutes, he was gone." Lily felt something crack inside her. Daniel hadn't just let Evelyn wait. He had disappeared too, and then let Evelyn carry the blame. Back in America, Lily confronted him in person. She didn't shout, she didn't cry. "You left the festival," she said quietly. Daniel's face changed for the first time. "You don't know that." "I do," Lily replied. "Germany confirmed it." Daniel's voice hardened. "You think this changes anything?" "Yes," Lily said. "It changes who's responsible." Daniel stepped closer. "Be careful," he warned. "You're not the only one with something to lose." Lily met his eyes. "Neither are you." The hearing was scheduled, psychological evaluations, testimonies, histories reopened. Daniel believed he could control the narrative. What he didn't realize was that Lily wasn't trying to destroy him. She was trying to force the truth into daylight, and truth has a way of collapsing structures built on silence. The night before the hearing, Lily received a message from Rachel. "I'm sorry," it read. "I believed him for too long." Attached was a file, emails, dates, contradictions, proof that Daniel had rewritten the past again and again. Lily closed her laptop and stared into the dark. Tomorrow wasn't about revenge. It was about survival. Because if Daniel won, Evelyn wouldn't just lose her daughter again, she would lose herself. And Lily had already lost one childhood, she would not lose her mother a second time. If you think the truth always wins cleanly, you're wrong. In the next part, the courtroom becomes a battlefield and the final secret finally breaks everything wide open. Subscribe because part 5 is where the past stops hiding. The courtroom smelled like old wood and quiet judgment. Lily noticed it the moment she walked in, the way truth feels heavier when it's about to be spoken out loud. Daniel sat at the front, calm, composed, hands folded like a man attending a meeting he expected to win. He didn't look at Evelyn. He didn't look at Lily either. That scared her more than anger ever could. Evelyn sat beside Lily, shoulders tense, eyes hollow. She looked smaller than she used to, like the years of guilt had slowly erased pieces of her. The judge entered. Everyone stood. And just like that, the past stopped being memory and became evidence. Daniel's lawyer spoke first. He painted Evelyn as fragile, broken, unstable, a woman frozen in trauma, unable to separate reality from guilt. He spoke gently, sympathetically, like someone delivering bad news with a smile. "This is not punishment," the lawyer said. "This is protection for everyone involved." Lily clenched her jaw. When it was Evelyn's turn to speak, her voice shook. "I lost my daughter," she said. "I lived with that loss every day, but I never stopped being her mother." Daniel finally looked at her, cold, calculating. The judge nodded slowly. "Miss Harper, there are concerns about delayed reporting the night your daughter disappeared." Evelyn's breath caught. Lily felt her heart slam. This was it. Daniel's lawyer leaned forward. "Can you explain why you waited?" Evelyn closed her eyes. "I was arguing," she said. "With my husband. I thought Lily was right behind us. I thought I had time." The courtroom murmured. Daniel's lawyer smiled faintly. "And your husband?" Evelyn opened her eyes. "He wasn't there," she said. Daniel's head snapped up. The room froze. "What do you mean?" the judge asked. Evelyn's voice steadied for the first time. "He walked away. He left the area." Daniel stood up abruptly. "That's a lie." Lily rose with him. "No," Lily said. "It isn't." All eyes turned to her. The judge hesitated, then nodded. "Miss Harper, you may speak." Lily stepped forward. She didn't look at Daniel. She looked at the judge. "I went back to Germany," she said. "I spoke to the officer who handled my case. My father left the festival before I was reported missing. Those minutes when everyone thinks my mother waited alone, he was gone." Daniel's lawyer objected. "Hearsay? I have documentation," Lily said, holding up the file Rachel had sent. Emails, timestamps, travel records. The judge reviewed them slowly. Daniel's face changed. For the first time, fear cracked through the mask. "He blamed my mother," Lily continued. "For 20 years, he built a new life on that blame, and when I came back and the truth followed me, he tried to erase her instead." The judge leaned back. Silence stretched like a held breath. Daniel spoke then, softly. "You don't understand," he said. "I was trying to keep us together. I panicked." Lily looked at him. "So did my mother," she said. "The difference is she paid for it. You didn't." Rachel's emails were read aloud. Each one tightened the noose. Contradictions, manipulations, rewritten memories. The judge removed his glasses. "This court does not punish grief," he said, "but it does not protect deception." He looked directly at Daniel. "The request for psychological intervention is denied." Evelyn broke down. Lily caught her, but it wasn't over. As they left the courtroom, Daniel walked past Lily and whispered, "You think this makes you whole?" Lily met his eyes. "No. But it makes me honest." That night, Evelyn slept for the first time without medication, and Lily realized something terrifying and freeing at the same time. The truth doesn't fix what was broken. It just tells you what was real. And what was real was still one part away from being finished. Because the hardest truth hadn't been spoken yet. Not about the man at the festival, not about the delay, but about what happened after Lily disappeared. And in the final part, that truth will decide whether this family survives at all. If you've stayed with this story till now, you already know some endings hurt because they're true. Subscribe because the final part isn't about losing a child, it's about choosing what kind of life comes after finding one. The truth came out 3 days after the hearing, not in court, not in a confrontation, but in a letter. Evelyn found it while cleaning the attic in a box she had avoided for years. It was sealed in an old envelope, yellowed, hidden beneath travel receipts from Germany. The handwriting was familiar, Daniel's. Evelyn's hands started shaking before she even opened it. The letter was dated 2 days after Lily disappeared. She sat on the floor and read, "I can't stay here anymore. I see the way you look at me like I killed her. Maybe I did, maybe we both did. I know the police think you waited. I didn't correct them, I needed someone else to carry this. If I stay, I will drown in this house, in this guilt. If I leave, maybe at least one of us survives. I'm sorry, I'm choosing to live." Evelyn didn't scream, she didn't cry. She just sat there staring at the wall, realizing something that shattered her completely. Daniel hadn't just left the festival, he had left her. And he had let her take the blame because it was easier than facing his own reflection. When Lily came home that evening, she found her mother sitting on the floor, the letter in her hands. Lily read it once, then again, then she closed her eyes. "So he didn't just rewrite the past," Lily said quietly. "He erased himself from it." Evelyn's voice was barely audible. "I spent 20 years believing I deserved to suffer." Lily knelt in front of her mother. "No," she said. "You spent 20 years paying for something you didn't do alone." For the first time since Germany, Evelyn allowed herself to feel something other than guilt. Anger. Daniel was served the next morning, not with court papers, with the letter. Lily sent it to Rachel. Rachel forwarded it to Daniel with one line, "I deserved the truth, so did she." Daniel didn't reply, instead he showed up. At Evelyn's house, unannounced, older, smaller, no confidence left to hide behind. "I never meant for this to go so far," he said. Evelyn stood in the doorway. "You let me believe my daughter was gone because I failed," she said. "Every single day." Daniel's eyes filled. "I was scared." "So was I," Evelyn replied. "The difference is I stayed." Daniel turned to Lily. "You don't understand what it's like to lose everything." Lily's voice was steady. "I was 8 years old and woke up in a stranger's house. Don't tell me about loss." Daniel opened his mouth, then closed it. There was nothing left to defend. Weeks passed. Rachel filed for divorce, not out of anger but clarity. She didn't take revenge, she didn't poison the children's minds. She simply said, "I can't raise my kids in a house built on denial." Daniel moved out quietly. No speeches, no explanations, just another man walking away, this time with no one left to blame. Lily stayed. Not because she had to, but because she chose to. She went to therapy with Evelyn. They talked about Germany, about guilt, about the difference between responsibility and punishment. One evening, Evelyn asked the question she had been terrified to voice. "Do you hate me?" Lily thought for a long time. "No," she said. "I hated the silence, I hated the not knowing, but you searched. Even when it hurt?" Evelyn broke down then, not in shame, but release. For the first time in 20 years, she slept without dreaming of losing a hand in a crowd. Before Lily returned to her life, she visited the festival street in Germany one last time. This time, she didn't imagine the lights. She imagined the 8-year-old girl who stood still, waiting, and she whispered, "I found you." On Lily's last night in America, she and Evelyn sat together on the porch. "What happens now?" Evelyn asked. Lily smiled softly. "Now we live honestly, even if it's messy." Evelyn nodded. "I don't need forgiveness, I just need truth." Lily stood, hugged her mother, and said the words that finally ended the story. "You didn't lose me, you lost time. And time, unlike children, can't be replaced." As Lily drove away, Evelyn didn't feel empty. She felt free, because the truth didn't bring her daughter back as a child. But it gave her something just as powerful: peace. If this story stayed with you, if it made you uncomfortable, if it made you think about guilt, truth, and the stories we tell ourselves to survive, then subscribe. Because some stories don't end when the child is found. They end when the truth is finally told.